Hey guys, we have a video here for you today that's going to help you treat your rats and get your operation back on track. Let's go ahead and do it. Come on. Alright guys, I've been there and I've been in your pain. I know what you're going through because I myself have been through it, and I'm here to help you through those steps. So right now you're probably freaking out. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. You ain't got to kill everything. We can manage this situation together. I'm here for you. So what you're going to want to do is, obviously for me, I made it a public statement back in March, I think 2015, March 15 of 2019 is when I came out and said, I have rat mites, I'm sorry. I gotta take this situation serious and get it. I can't sell to the public live until then. So we closed our doors. It was really tough. We're still on the tail end of it as this video is being viewed. We're now short on large and jumbo rats as we're waiting on 9 racks to start production. So that was a bummer. I'm gonna clean racks while I talk to you guys. Sorry, I gotta multitask. And it really just, it hurt me. And if you can go back and see the videos, I was pretty shook up about it. I didn't know what the situation was going to be for the future of us as a company. And it really impacted us. And, I was honest. I told the public, and I feel like it was the best thing to do. So back to the treatment, guys. What you're going to want to do is immediately make sure you are not bringing anything new into the facility. And when you do, quarantine it outside of a different location. If you handle them, do not come here with those same clothes. Or in clean shower, clean clothes, shoes. Guys, that's big. If you walk in that area and then you bring them in here, you showered but didn't change shoes, you're gonna get them sick. You can even go to get painter suits. Those are all white ones. You want to get fancy with it, like you see in the movies where the scene is the dude's in the white suit in the lab area. So that's a prime example. You can go that far if you want. What we did is we did wear those suits for several about a week, several days. It was really hot during the summer, unfortunately, when it happened to us. So we end up actually at that point dealing with the heat in that suit, but we were spraying stuff. And what you're going to want to spray, guys, is this stuff right here. This will be in the description below. This is what you're going to spray on the cages without the rats, without the bedding, without the food, just the equipment, the shelving, the floors, the ceilings, the walls. It's Onslaught. It's going to last for several months. It is a deep insecticide that I do recommend you wear protective gear, gloves, mask, the whole works, guys. You will gotta worry about your health. But this stuff penetrates deep in the cracks. A little bit goes a long ways, and will last for up to 3 to 4 months. So it continues to killing well on beyond past the spraying. But you do not want to spray your animals with this, because that is not safe for your snakes or birds or cat, whatever, to consume. This stuff works great for the surrounding areas. Another kind of cocktail that we did with that one, that is this right here. It's a permectrin based spray. You can actually spray cattle and swine for it. You can in turn spray your animals with this, but I would not recommend it unless you have a long holdout period of over 30 days without feeding off your animal to anything, as there's going to be residuals passed on to the babies with the milk. So you do not want to spray the animals with this if you're trying to still be able to sell them tomorrow. That is a dangerous thing you got to be careful with, because permethrin can interact with the animals on a different level that most people don't realize. Their neurological system is different than ours, so their reaction to chemicals is different. They don't process them like we do as humans. So that is something you definitely have to be careful. what you're seeing here is the safe alternative to spray the animals. But you want to make sure, before I get into this, you want to make sure you're spraying those animals really well, or spraying the equipment and everything. You're not bringing in new animals. You want to make sure that those animals are healthy and you're getting them from a reliable source. People always say, I need to bring in new bloodlines. Honestly, I haven't seen it, and I've been breeding mine for many years of the same bloodline without any issues. So I don't get when people say that. But once you get that spraying, guys, after you get everything sprayed, I repeat, the life cycle of a mite or lice is typically about 29 days. Their sexual maturity is around 14 days. At that point, they will die, and when they die, they lay the eggs immediately. Those eggs are viable and still able to hatch in 3 to 4 days and continue the cycle, even though you sprayed a non-residual base spray, like the diatomaceous earth that we'll get into. And that... Sorry guys, it's like 11:30 here. I've been putting in a long time. I had to review that video to see what I was talking about. So after they hatch out from you spraying a non-residual that can't kill the eggs, at that point they are going to hatch and start the cycle all over again. And you got to keep doing it unless you're doing that residual. So that residual, if they climb or try to go anywhere, is going to contain them to the matter at hand. Now, with that being said, if it's just a few animals, kill them, guys. Call the animals. If you're not attached to them, select it. You know, it's a herd. You got a big breeding stock. There's no sense of trying to hang on to a few if it's just a few that you noticed it. Pull that one out of that whole tub along with the rest of the tub and just gas it. But to treat the animals, and you really want to keep them around, and you want to be able to sell them still, you're going to want to look at diatomaceous earth. That stuff you can get at any grow shop, any kind of Home Depot, any garden shop will sell it. And make sure it's food grade. Most places I've seen do sell food grade. I actually have never seen non-food grade available at those kind of locations, just because of their most places are aware that people are wanting that food grade, which is actually safe for humans. Now what that does is these animals have an exoskeleton, and the exoskeleton's coated with this oil. And that oil is actually what keeps them protected from our environment that is around us, from drying out from too much humidity. So this spray, when it dries, guys, it's just like chalk. It just comes in, flakes off, and it really just sticks to stuff. Most people powder the bedding and stuff. I like to spray the animals directly. I noticed after I started spraying them like that, they seemed healthier and fuller, and they were just kind of content, because as the rats get older, they can't clean themselves like they could when they're younger, and that's oftentimes why you'll see them have the younger ones help them groom. Sorry, I'm like hiccuping. Help the younger ones groom them. So the DE ratio that we like to use here is, I use 12 cups. So I do a 2 cups water, 2 cups or 1 cup DE. And that's a fairly good ratio. On a gallon though, that would technically come out to 7. I'll go only 6 because sometimes I notice clogging. So I guess it would be a little bit less than that. But generally speaking, that ratio works really good. It applies a nice thick coat. Of course, biggest problem, guys, is you're going to notice a lot of settlement. So you're going to want to shake it often to prevent that. And if you don't shake it, it can clog. Your liquid's going to get thicker as you go and use more water, and more continues to settle. It'll actually completely separate overnight. And you want to be careful. Some of them, like when I went and got some that was really cheap that had calcium bromide in it, didn't have an anti-clumping agent. This stuff is basically dried up bones that's ground up into what's considered like, essentially it's just powder, and it just dries out everything. It works really well. I enjoy it, but that's what we do. And you got to keep treating these buggers for a minimum of 29 days. And then at that point, you should be problem free, but we are no longer in dealing with the problem, but we still treat our animals as a preventative care with the DE. We also use hot shot no pest strips. I deploy those through the shop, just a couple of them, as one covers about 1,500 square foot. So those deploy a gas that in turn kill all crawling insects. So guys, I hope that helps cover the video. Just keep working at it, keep pounding. Works for us. I used to have mite bites all up and down my arms. I'm talking like 4 or 5 a day. I'd go home, my wife would get them because I wouldn't shower sometimes when I hopped in bed. I know that sounds gross, but if you're working 20-hour days, sometimes you just want to go home and shower in the morning. Of course, now that I have the reptiles, I have to shower when I go home because I don't want to get mauled by the retics when I go in and feed. Of course, that's what I got to do tonight when I get home. Got to go in there and do some reptile care. So you just keep spraying them, guys. Treat the area around them. Don't bring anything new in. And you know, preventative care is going to be your best bet in the future from combating these things, because if they get in on your large scale operation, it's a lot of animals to treat and a lot of time, extra revenue cost. It's definitely tedious. So diatomaceous earth, onslaught, and permectrin, which I will have in links on the bottom, which you guys can get all these items through Amazon, is where I got these two. Of course, diatomaceous earth is probably also, but I get it through Home Depot because of the mass quantities that we use here. We're Colorado's largest production facility. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button. Drop a comment if you want us to go into details about anything that you feel like we're didn't go into detail enough about. I love you guys. This is late, so I got to get back to work. Rats don't stop pooping and don't stop eating. You don't stop giving up on your dreams. Peace.